What up, YouTube Live? How's it going, everybody? Right now it's Wednesday, June 23rd, past 11 a.m. in the morning. In a couple of hours from now, I'll be interviewing a few talents. But I want to discuss this real quick because I've talked about this before, and you know what? I want to reiterate again my objection to Indiana Jones 5. And it's the obvious reason. It's not ageist. I'm not being ageist. I'm just being concerned for Harrison Ford, man. And as you could see from this latest news on ABC News, or I think it's originally from Deadline, Harrison Ford got injured. His shoulder got injured on the set of Indiana Jones 5. So they have started filming already, and during the production, something happened, and Harrison Ford's shoulder got hurt. Oh, hello, hello, hello! Jurassic Theory is here. What up, my friend? What up, what up? And Robert makes the cut. Hello again. Thank you for tuning in. Um, so let me make this big so you can read it along with me. All right, can you see it? Harrison Ford is taking a hiatus. Hiatus means a break from filming Indiana Jones 5 after sustaining a shoulder injury on the set. The 78-year-old was hurt rehearsing a fight scene, a spokesperson for the Walt Disney Co. said today is Wednesday. Production is expected to continue and the filming schedule will be reconfigured as needed while treatment options are evaluated. Filming on the fifth installment in the series began earlier this month in the UK under direction of James Mangold. The film is set to be released in July 2022. So yeah, Steven Spielberg produces it, but he's not returning to direct it. The directing job is now in the hands of James Mangold, the guy who gave us Ford versus Ferrari, 3:10 to Yuma remake, and of course, The Wolverine, the one where, The Wolverine and Logan, so two Wolverine movies. So James Mangold is an excellent filmmaker, an excellent storyteller. So I have no doubt that if he's in charge of the script and the whole thing, that we might get an enjoyable Indiana Jones 5. At the very least, it's gonna be pretty solid. But the bar is low, right? Because the last Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was crap. God, that movie was awful. So you could argue that the bar is low. Anybody can make any Indiana Jones better than the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But James Mangold, would at least make a decent Indiana Jones movie. Given his track record. But yeah, man, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't want Indiana Jones 5. I do not want Indiana Jones 5. For this very reason. Harrison Ford is like 78 years old. And, part of the requirement of being Indiana Jones, the character himself, because he is an archaeologist, right? He's an adventurer. He's a guy running around from the natives or the locals, and he evades or he escapes booby traps, and then he bullwhips his way from one swing to the other and bullwhips his way from one villain to the next. He's an action man. Indiana Jones is an action man, right from the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he was running from that boulder. The 70-year-old Harrison Ford would not be able to run from the boulder. He would not be able to make it look convincing. He would not be able to sell it to us. I just don't know why this movie has to happen with him. This is one of those rare occasions where we can actually agree, you and I, that this is one franchise that could use a reboot, that could use a remake. Of all the franchises out there, we might have disagreements about, whether to reboot this one or that one, but I think we can agree that this Indiana Jones could really use a reboot, could really use a refresh. Indiana Jones with 70-year-old Harrison Ford just doesn't cut it. You know, I'm not gonna be sitting and be believing what I'm seeing on the screen, that the 78-year-old Harrison Ford, or 78-year-old Indiana Jones, you know, could actually still do what he used to do. Man, you know, and you know that here's the thing. Here's the thing. Harrison Ford had a few near-death experiences in the past. You know, the guy is stubborn, right? The guy flies his own damn plane. He's like John Travolta. He's like the late John Kennedy. No, John Kennedy Jr. He didn't fly his own plane. That was a private plane. But he's like John Travolta. He's like one of those celebrities. It's like, you know what? I'm rich enough to get to buy my own plane and fly it myself. And so there were instances in the past where he almost crashed, and I think it was more than once. You know, so I even feel scared whenever he flies his own damn plane. Now he's gonna be doing this rigorous movie set at his age. You know, if you tell me that, oh, Harrison Ford is coming back to star in let's see, the Witness sequel or Sabrina sequel, even though I didn't like the Sabrina movie, but you know, something that's not really strenuous, you know, then I would be like, yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd watch that. But I can't buy him being Indiana Jones again. That's just me. I can't. Maybe you can, I don't know, but I can't buy him as Indiana Jones again. I have, you know, I grew up a fan of Indiana Jones. I have that image that, you know, of the first trilogy movie. You know, I was such a huge fan of them. I have a collection of the Blu-rays as well, and I don't want that. I don't want that image, that visual of awesomeness, of the awesomeness or the epicness of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones to be tainted by this, or you know. I mean, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was painful enough as it was to watch it. I'm like, really, you gonna make me buy that? That was like, what was that? 2008, 13 years ago or something like that. And he was already looking very frail. Again, I'm not being ageist. You know, I'm just saying that this is an action-packed movie. It just, I think this is one franchise that could really use a new blood. And I hope it's not Shia LaBeouf. The way they try to, you know, make Shia LaBeouf be the one that possibly carries on the legacy, that was kind of also lame in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But anybody, you know, do a major cast. This might be a big break for a new face or something, right? But please, man, why do they have to put Harrison Ford in this situation again? Like, let the old man, you know, just enjoy his wealth and his retirement. You know, let him join Jack Nicholson and who else retired? Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman never came back. You know, it's like, and Dustin Hoffman. You know, let Harrison Ford just enjoy. He's a legend now. It's like there's nothing that he has to prove anymore. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Robert makes the cut. I think it's gonna be good. Yeah. I think it's gonna be good. You know, mainly because of James Mangold is in charge. You know, the writer director James Mangold. He's a fantastic storyteller. But you know, like I said, it's gonna really hurt watching freaking Harrison Ford trying to run around on the screen. That one's gonna really kind of ruin the mood, you know, despite the story maybe being good. Jurassic Theory, I hope so. Ford is not anymore in his prime. Exactly. Yeah, old Indiana Jones is not very exciting. Exactly. I just don't understand why they gotta do this. Let's see some of the responses on Twitter. I think many of them are also sensible reactions. The Ryan T Show podcast. Do we really need another Indiana Jones movie? Let the poor man rest. See, the Ryan T Show podcast knows what I'm talking about. Rob's podcast mug. Honestly, it can't be any worse than 4. Here's hoping he goes out on a good note. Okay, I guess Rob's more optimistic than I am. Sonny Burnett. Steven Spielberg posing with Harrison Ford. Steven Spielberg posing with Harrison Ford while visiting the Indiana Jones 5 set. Oh, that's cold. Hey, come on now. Harrison Ford may be old, but he ain't like, dinosaur old. He's not Triceratops. You wrong for that. The Harrison Ford point was bound to cause a repetitive stress injury. Let's hope he recovers in time to perform his signature move. I mean, they even had to kill him off in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's not spoiler anymore, guys. It's been 5 years, but that's how like frail and old like come on. And I don't want. Maybe that's the story or the angle that James Mangold's gonna go with. Maybe this is the last hurrah. Maybe the end scene of Indiana Jones 5 will be Indiana Jones getting killed off. Man, that would be pretty terrible. Needs more. Get off my plane. Oh, Air Force One reference. Excellent. Oh my God, the preview of Indiana Jones 5. Yep, that's more like it. Patricia Arquette chimed in. I hope he has a full recovery. The Jurassic Crisp. No, he has to be killed in The Force Awakens. Yeah, that's true. And maybe he has to be killed off as well in Indiana Jones 5. I don't want to see that. Can't be easy with all the action scenes as a so young warrior. Exactly, Sean. Exactly. He's 78 years old, man. And he's already rich. He's an Oscar nominee. He's a legend. He doesn't have to prove anything, man. Really, really. It's not cool. I hope there's a scene where Indiana Jones breaks his ankle while running. Maybe it's in the script. Hey, Jurassic Theory, maybe it's in the script. Yeah, maybe that will happen in Indiana Jones 5. Oh, gee, a 78-year-old gets injured. Oh, for F's sake, just recast him. See, Ozymandias knows what I'm talking about. He understands. You feel me, Ozymandias. You feel me. Wonky Sluss, this guy's a tank. He'll be back. Yeah. First Indiana Jones, pretty much good. The rest sucked. They're on 5 now. That too. There's always a chance that this might also suck. 3 is considered to be the best by many people. 4 is the only one that's absolute garbage. I fail to see how one movie is considered the rest. I vividly remember seeing a rumor in the late 90s that he would do another Indiana Jones movie and laughing hysterically at the thought of 60-year-old Indiana Jones. Oh, okay. So basically what Harry's saying here, he saw a footage of Indiana Jones a footage of Harrison Ford laughing at the thought, like, really? You want me to come back at my age right now as Indiana Jones? Like, even Harrison Ford himself, thought that was hysterical. D'Anthony, probably wasn't even a stunt. He probably was reaching to remove his hat and strain his shoulder. I'm sorry. I can't speak today. Strain his shoulder. That's probably why or how he hurt his shoulder. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But still, he's obviously on Medicare, so he'll see his primary, get appointment with ortho. Then, if no surgery, a few rounds of physical therapy, all the while taking anti-inflammatories. Then, if he doesn't progress, they'll add occupational therapy. Might be some psych counseling. Goodness me. And you know what? Harrison Ford is so rich, he doesn't need Medicare. He can pay for all that occupational physical therapy stuff out of pocket. Thomas Burns, he crashed planes and broke his leg on the Millennium Falcon door. This is just what Harrison does. True. It's getting more often now, more frequent now. But still, it's still ground for concern. Vibe Days V's, may God protect our national treasure. I feel you, Vibe. I don't want him to get hurt, you know, any more than he already did. Scotty Mac, I hope the movie is better than Crystal Skull. I hope so too. Because Crystal Skull was poo poo. Crystal Skull was crap. Arcane Workshop, Indiana Jones and the Woke Disaster. Could you imagine if Indiana Jones 5 follows the same trend as most movies updated today, where it's just lots of woke culture injected into it? Oh my god. That would be a nightmare. Tyler Calvary is here. Who would have guessed the almost 80-year-old man would get injured doing an action movie? like, right? It's like, of course, it's within the bounds of possibility that a close to 80-year-old man would get injured on the set of a film that requires a lot of running. It's like, duh. And who knows? Maybe when he comes back from his hiatus, when his shoulder gets better, give it a couple of action-packed scenes. Give it another couple of days. He'll get injured again. He'll get hurt again. Jurassic Theory, I think Jones will die like mid-movie. After that, his son will be the main protagonist. Okay, that's one theory for the storyline. I hear you. Indiana Jones 5, The Mystery of Why the Grandkids Never Call. Hut said, love this guy, but it might be time to hang it up. Yes, Hut. Preach it, Hut. That's what I'm talking about. Apparitions, he tried to, but he signed a contract for 5 movies. Steve, wouldn't Indy have been forced into retirement from teaching like 10 years ago? Indiana Jones 5, why is it so cold in here? Didn't he hurt his leg making the last Star Wars? Yep. Harrison Ford needs to chill out. It's just a movie, bro. For reals, right? I find it easier to pretend the 4th and 5th film were never a thing. Would rather see a Tomb Raider sequel or even the upcoming Uncharted film over this over this geriatric tragedy. Oh my god, that's funny. Coffee cups are not as light as they used to be. A body could get hurt badly lifting those things. My eyes were injured watching the 4th one. Do I get a hiatus? Right? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was horrible. That was so shitty. The ageist comments in his thread are appalling. Come on, it's not ageist. We're just being real here. Like, we gotta keep it real, man. Keep it 100. Like, he's like Tyler said, he's close to 80 years old. What do you expect? Like, he's still be able to be running around from the natives, from the locals, escaping booby traps? Like, you want us to believe that? You want us to buy that when we see that on the screen? Like, oh, it's so convincing? No, it doesn't look convincing. So, and Ryan made a good point here. I'd rather see Tomb Raider 2, with Alicia Vikander, or Uncharted film that's coming up with Tom Holland. Ever since Indiana Jones, there had been a lot of Indiana Jones-esque characters coming up, and many of them have potentials, including at one point Brendan Fraser with The Mummy. His character was sort of like, copying Indiana Jones or emulating Indiana Jones, the Mummy franchise. So, that's, if Brendan Fraser in his prime, could be playing Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones, I can see that. I can buy that. I can buy that more than Harrison Ford, 78-year-old Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones. So, but anyway, Harrison Ford got injured. He's taking a break. The filming still continues. I'm sure they're gonna shoot many of the other scenes that don't require Indiana Jones to be in them, and but we'll see when he's gonna come back. But sorry, that's the advertisement. So let me know your thoughts about this latest topic, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you want to see Indiana Jones 5 starring Harrison Ford or not? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's rock this.